All right, so Poopy Pants Biden may declare a national climate emergency. This is coming from the Gateway Pundit. Man, this is crazy. It says here Biden may declare national climate emergency this week. It says Joe Biden may consider declaring a climate emergency this week by issuing an executive order. Biden is slated to travel to Somerset, Massachusetts on Wednesday to address tackling the climate crisis and seizing the opportunity of a clean energy future to create jobs and lower costs for families. That's what the White House announced on Tuesday. These people are so stupid. This is why they're losing in every poll. This is why Biden has record low approval rating. And it's even worse than what the ratings are showing because most of these polls are left-wing biased. So if he's doing that bad in these left-wing polls, you can imagine what his real poll numbers are. And you don't hear too many Biden supporters. Like, you don't hear from people. You know, the whole time, and I'll say this, say what you want to say about Trump, the whole time Trump was there, you heard from his supporters. You don't hear people talking about Biden like, yeah, man, Biden, Biden's doing a great job. Hell no. People are like, yeah, well, I voted. This is what people are saying. Well, we voted for Biden because, we had to get rid of Trump. That's what it was. Vote blue no matter who. But this is how stupid the Democratic Party is. They're losing in every poll, education, economy, everything you can think of, the way he handled Afghanistan, everything. They're losing in every poll. And this is what these morons over here talking about. They're talking about some damn climate change. Al Gore been telling you since 2001 that we were all going to burn up. Remember, it was global warming, and then it became climate change. Why? Because they couldn't prove that the earth was really getting warm, or that we were all going to burn to death, right? Or we were going to freeze over. They couldn't pick one, right? They kept switching up. So then they turned it to climate change. Why? Because that's something you can debate. And that's what these liberals, they love to do. They love to debate. They don't never like to get to the point. That's one thing I noticed about them. They love to debate. They love to get into that technically this and technically that. But they never get to the point. Right? So Poopy Pants over here, who's nothing but a globalist puppet for Klaus Schwab and the Kissingers of the world, is set to set a national climate emergency. And that's according to the Washington Post, actually, because that's where the Gateway Pundit got their story from. It says here, the president, this is a quote, says here, the president made clear that if the Senate doesn't act to tackle the climate crisis and strengthen our domestic clean energy industry, he will, said that's what a White House official who requested to remain anonymous to describe the deliberations, said in a statement late on Monday. Says we are considering all options and no decision has been made. Says White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein emphasized to reporters at a news briefing earlier in the day that Biden would aggressively fight to attack climate change. I think realistically, there is a lot he can do, and there is a lot he will do. Well, what he won't do is reverse his sinking poll numbers. And what he won't do is find a way get his party out of the dumpster because they are in the toilet. It says Biden has a plan to issue the emergency declaration. The Associated Press confirms. Oh, this is coming from the AP. It says, but he will likely make the move following the Massachusetts visit to promote his efforts to combat climate change, according to a report published in February by the Center for Biological Diversity. Declaring an emergency would authorize the Biden administration to execute key climate emergency executive actions, including the capacity to limit all fossil fuel imports and exports, suspend the offshore drilling leases for 11 million acres of federal waters, and reinstate crude oil export ban that Congress voted to repeal in 2015. And this is going to be this is going to go over just well with the American people. See, what happens is libtards, Democrats, they live in their own little stupid bubble. And they think that everyone in the country is stupid and gullible and that they're thinking like them. Newsflash, they're not. They're not. This is going to go over like a fart in church. These idiots, these morons, have no idea what the people want. Like I said, their arrogance is what's going to destroy them. They're so arrogant and pompous. They walk around with their nose up in the air, and I live in the D.C. area. I've seen them, different places where I've worked at. I've ran into these people, these politicians, and they have this arrogance about them, this aura about them. They just think that they're so much better than you and me. And they think they know everything. And they know nothing. They don't know their ass from a hole in the wall. Look at Kamala Harris. She is stupid. She knows nothing about anything. Hillary Clinton is a deep state globalist, and we know that. But she at least knows how to form a sentence. She knows how to push the agenda. But what has happened, they've put people in place like the Bidens and the Kamala Harrises of the world who are just so stupid that they don't know how to, they can't do what Hillary can do. Hillary can at least pretend to be concerned that she can make a globalist agenda look like it's an American issue, like it's a betterment, even though we know it's BS, right? But she can at least appeal to the normies, is what I'm trying to say. Biden and Harris are so cringe that even the normies can look at them and go, these people, there's something wrong with them. That's why they needed 2020, the lockdowns and everything else, to have an excuse so you really wouldn't see these people. If people had a real chance to see Biden and Harris back in 2020 and really listen to them and really hear and see what they were about, there's no way in hell they would be in office. No way in hell. It was, the 2020 election was all about removing Trump because people are stupid. People don't like low gas prices. People don't like a better economy. People don't like that. People are stupid. People want someone that's going to get in there and say nice things and not do anything. They don't want the guy that's going to come in there and shake things up. Yeah, he might be mean, but he's really not even that mean. He's really just, Trump is going to brag. That's what he does. He brags. So what? Who cares? You people are the dumbasses that would be drowning. Okay, you could be drowning, and someone could send you they could roll by, throw a lifesaver in there, right? And instead of you saying, damn, let me grab this thing and swim to safety, or let me jump on this boat. No, you'll sit there and have a stupid ass argument like, well, I don't like the way you threw I don't like the way you threw it in there. You could have done it nicely. Who cares, man? A lifesaver is a lifesaver. That's it. Period. And you're going to pay for it. I want Biden to stay in office for the next 8 years. That was the first thing I said when they were like, oh my God, Biden is going to get in the office, he's going to ruin everything. I was like, good. America needs this. It needs it. Sounds harsh. We need Biden for at least 6 years. And that will wake up the last bit of the stupid asses that still watch CNN and think that they're watching real news. The last thing we need right now is for Trump to come back. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at that. I don't care. Stupid is as stupid does. And you're only stupid because you continue to do the same stupid things you did before you knew what stupid was. Right? Be stupid. Stay stupid. Stay stupid. Stay stupid. No, stay stupid. Keep Biden in the White House. Vote blue no matter who. Right? Vote blue no matter who. Keep listening to the Bill Maher's of the world. Keep listening to the Joy Reids of the world. Keep listening to Rachel Maddow. Keep listening to these people. Right? And when we have a serious housing crisis again, because Biden is nothing but a Democratic version of George W. Bush. That's all he is. Nothing but a stupid puppet for the globalist elites. And I better cut this short before I go on a rant and I end up making it so I can't upload this and I'll start saying things I shouldn't say. Because you know what I really want to say. Right? We know who the puppet masters are. We know who George Soros and Klaus Schwab and all of these people are, because Soros and Schwab are controlling Obama and Obama is controlling Biden. Right? That's what's going on. Biden can't even read from a damn cue card. He has cards that he has to have in his possession to tell him when to sit down, when to stand up. You don't believe me? Go look for it. Look for it online. It says, stand up at this time. Sit down at this time. Request this reporter. Only take questions from that reporter. This is your president. Vote blue no matter who. Let him stay in office. They keep saying, well, they're going to have to get rid of him because of his decline mentally. He's not fit. No. Keep him in there. Keep him in there. People need to learn the hard way. As obviously, that's the only way for them to learn. Climate change. With everything that's going on, they're talking about a food shortage coming up. I just read a report that there could be a housing crisis soon. These are major publications. You're talking about New York Post, The Hill. These aren't QAnon conspiracy theory websites. These are major publications. Right? And what is this idiot talking about doing? Tackling climate change. Declaring a historic climate emergency. and they wonder why they're losing in every poll. This is why. This is your president. You voted blue no matter who. You only have yourselves to thank. A new poll shows that more Americans trust the GOP with education in battleground districts. This is coming from Breitbart. Says Americans trust Republicans over Democrats with education in battleground districts. It says American voters trust Republicans over Democrats with education policy in congressional battleground districts, marking a major reversal for the Democrat Party on the issue. Now, what that's telling you is that parents are now paying attention. Okay, and that spells really bad news for the Democrats because that's their key target. They always play on parents and they're all about, education and everything else. That's a key shift. Parents are paying attention. See, the big mistakes that Biden made early on by sicking the FBI on concerned parents who were upset because they were being taught critical race, their children were being taught critical race theory. You got these drag queen story time or story hour or whatever it's called. They're grooming these children and telling them to, telling boys to become girls and girls to become boys and all of this craziness that's going on in a Democratic Party. Parents are looking at this and going, these people are nuts. Now, they're not saying it out loud. A lot of people are afraid to say the quiet part out loud because they don't want to be looked at as crazy. Because what the media has done, they've perpetrated this fraud that anybody that goes against the mainstream media's narrative that they're crazy or they're cuckoo or conspiracy theorists. That's what they do. They give you these labels, they give you these titles, and no one wants to be outcast from society. But secretly, parents are watching this and they're going, this is bizarro world. I don't want my children being groomed. Okay? I don't want my children being taught Marxism and communism. Okay? That's what's happening. And they saw that with the Virginia election. Was that last year? And they're going to see it again this year come the midterms in November. If we have them, I expect some kind of false flag big event to take place prior to the midterms this year. However, back to the topic at hand, it says, while 47%, again, it's coming from Breitbart in case I didn't say it, while 47% of respondents trust Republicans regarding education, only 43% trust Democrats, giving Republicans a 4-point lead on the issue. Says among parents, the gap is even bigger, where Democrats trail Republicans by 9 points. More tellingly, Democrats also trail Republicans with minority voters by 10 points. And I can guarantee you that a big portion of that is the Hispanic community, because the Democrats have pretty much lost the Hispanic community with their handling of the border, and that really backfired on them. I don't think they expected that, but what happened at the border, you had a lot of gang members coming over and child traffickers coming over. And that was called a conspiracy theory, and that wasn't true, and yada, yada, yada. And then over time, it turned out to be true. But they buried it and covered it and pretended like it didn't exist. And I'm going off topic, but they lost a lot of the Hispanic voters the Democratic Party used to have. And this is not just me saying it. It's not right-wing conspiracy theory that the Democrats are losing a big portion of the Hispanic voters. Even The Hill has reported on it. So it's not, The Hill is a major publication coming out of D.C. They're in a lot of trouble because when you lose parents, you've lost the country. They're in a lot of trouble. And what's happened as a result of them losing the parents, when the parents don't trust your party on education, you're screwed. You're screwed. And like I said before, when Biden sicked the FBI on concerned parents who were protesting the school boards, when that happened, that drew the line. That drew the line right there. Parents got to see exactly not just what the Biden administration is all about, but what the Democratic Party is all about. They got to see their freedoms being taken away, their freedom of speech concerning their children. So who did they piss off? And I heard Steve Bannon say this. Who did they piss off? They pissed off the mama bears. You don't piss off the mama bears. But that's how arrogant these elitists are. And I tell these people all the time, you have no idea, especially in the Democratic Party, but you have these rhino Republicans that are the same way too, right? So it's not a Democrat versus Republican thing in this sense, because you have just as many arrogant pricks inside the Republican Party as you do the Democratic Party. But the Democrats, when you want to talk about arrogant and just uppity, nose in the air, I'm better than you. Those people just believe that they can tell you if they pour syrup on doo-doo that you should eat it and that you'll eat it. They have that pompous attitude. And it's finally catching up with them. It's finally being shown. Okay? It's finally getting to the point where it's affecting the bottom line, which is the dollar, the gas pump. When it affects people's wallets, that's when people respond. Finally. That's what it took. It wasn't enough that they locked you down for almost 2 years to a certain degree and took away your freedoms and gave you mandates that made no sense whatsoever. And that wasn't enough. When they hurt the bottom line, or they hit the bottom line, which is the dollar, your pocketbook, your wallet, the gas pump, that's when people start paying attention. And also, what they underestimated was that parents would start paying attention to what's being taught inside these schools. So now the shift has moved away from trusting the Democrats with education, right, to moving over to the Republican Party. That is a nightmare. By the time Biden leaves the White House, I think the Democratic Party is going to be dead. They're going to be, I don't know how they're going to rebound. They're going to have to restructure and put a whole new face on their party, which is really going to upset their agenda, because their agenda is Agenda 2030, right? So I don't know how they're going to reverse this, but they're in a lot of trouble if parents don't trust them on educating their children. That means that parents have woken up to their Marxist, socialist, and communist teachings inside of these schools. And that means that the Democratic Party is in deep, deep doo-doo. They're in trouble. All right, so AOC is back at it again. She is just, you want to talk about a character? She has the right name, AOC. She really is an agent of chaos. New York Post reports AOC fakes being handcuffed after arrest at abortion rights protests. Says AOC was escorted by police away from the Supreme Court. And I watched a little bit of the video, and you can see her put her hands behind her back, pretending like she was being arrested. And it's, it's just funny. It's comical at this point. She's nothing but an actor, crisis actor at that. And this is what she does. She puts on a show and pretends like she's really out there protesting, and like she really believes in this BS. There was a picture of her pretending to be crying at the wall at the border down in Texas. It was an empty parking lot, but the way they took the picture, if you didn't zoom out, you would have thought that there was like all of these, I guess, people being, detained or whatever. But this is what she does. It's classic AOC. Says, back to the New York Post here, it says far left Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was roundedly mocked on social media Tuesday after she put her arms up behind her back to imitate being handcuffed following her arrest at a pro-abortion demonstration outside the Supreme Court. Again, these Democrats they're desperate. They're losing. Okay, in a big way, they're losing on everything. They're losing. People don't trust them with the economy. I just read a report from Breitbart. People don't trust them as far as education is concerned. Okay, they are losing in every way. They don't trust their news media anymore. CNN is nothing but a left-wing talking point, a left-wing news outlet. MSNBC, they're all losing their ratings. People don't trust them. They've been exposed as nothing but a bunch of really communists, right? And I think that the pandemic did a lot to prove that. It proved a lot of the conspiracy theorists to be right. These people really want to take your rights from you. They want to take away your freedom of speech, banning parents from protesting at school boards. Meanwhile, you have these abortion protests, and they're encouraging it, even going as far as to encourage people to protest outside of the homes of Supreme Court justices. So people are seeing the hypocrisy, and people just don't believe them anymore. So this is why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known as AOC, this is why she's stooping so low to fake being put in handcuffs. They're trying to gain sympathy. They're trying to gain sympathy points, but nobody's believing them anymore. They don't even believe themselves. But it's their arrogance that keeps them going. They're fueled by their arrogance. They just believe that people are going to believe them, but nobody believes them anymore. It says the Bronx and Queens Democratic lawmaker was gently escorted away by a Capitol police officer along with fellow city rep Carolyn Maloney after blocking traffic outside the court building. It says AOC kept up the charade of being restrained for a few steps before raising her fist to supporters watching from the sidewalk. She then crossed her wrists behind her back again in the Fox handcuffed position. Right, and I saw the video, and if you see the video, you know what I'm saying. She was not being handcuffed. She put her hands behind her back, pretending like she's, like she's trying to pretend like she's this freedom fighter. First of all, the idiots, people are so stupid, they don't even realize you can still get an abortion. It's just now up to the states. That's it. This is how stupid people are. But anyway, it says Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and several other lawmakers were escorted away from a pro-abortion protest outside the Supreme Court building on July 19th. It says, let me see here. It says the clip spread like wildfire and conservative commentators were quick to chime in. This is a quote from the Washington Free Beacon. It says, AOC pretended to be in handcuffs when she was escorted away from the Supreme Court. Someone else wrote, and this is Matt Whitlock here, quote, "Oh my gosh, AOC faking handcuffs." Okay. So, again, someone else wrote she had invisible handcuffs on. But this is what they're stooping to because they have nothing. They have nothing. They have nothing to offer the people. So they've stooped down to putting on dramatic scenes like this because this is all they have. They're trying to drum up some kind of sympathy. They're playing on the emotions of people, and they think that the Supreme Court decision on Roe versus Wade is going to, I don't know, maybe swing things back in their favor, or these people are desperate. I'm telling you, they're absolutely desperate. And there's some other things that I really want to say that I'm not going to say on this particular show because I'm going to try to see if I can put this up on YouTube, maybe. I don't know. But they are in so much trouble, and they know that their party is sinking. You have a lame duck president who can't even form a sentence, embarrassing the country in front of the whole world. Okay? In front of the whole world. And at this point, man, what do they have left? But they're going to have to, the Republicans are going to have to make some serious mistakes between now and November. And, well, you can't say that they're not capable of doing it. There are a lot of stupid Republicans out there. They may do something dumb enough to make people forget about the past 2 years, or the past, close to 2 years of poopy pants Biden's administrations. And you can't get rid of Biden because then you got Kamala. So this is the jam. This is the jam that the Democrats are in. And I want you to, before I get off of this, think about this. Biden is doing this bad with the Democrats in control. Imagine what would happen if the Republicans took the House and the Senate. Oh my God. He's doing this bad, even with the media covering up for him and his son, right? Even with all this protection, he's not being asked any questions, no legitimate questions. His press secretary is not being asked hardly any legitimate questions. They're not giving him any real, he basically shows up for 5 minutes, rants about nothing, and then he leaves. You can just imagine what it would be like. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is me being selfish. I want him to stay in there. I want him to serve out his full entire term. People keep talking about we need Trump back. Hell no. No, I don't want Trump back in there. You know what I want? I want Biden for the next 8 years. People have got to learn their damn lesson. Your emotions do not qualify, when it comes to politics and when it comes to the betterment of the country. Okay? Your emotions don't mean anything. I don't like Trump's tweets. So what? Keep Biden in the White House. And then right after him, put Kamala in there. And just let people find out. That people are stupid. They got to find out the hard way. Vote blue no matter who. That's what they were screaming the whole time Trump was in there. Then the dumbasses said, well, I got to pay so much for gas. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's only going to get better from here. But anyway, I digress. This is a desperate attempt by AOC, and she is such a character. You want to talk about, she is the biggest character out of all of them. She cracks me up, really. Someone put out, and this is a conspiracy theory, so this isn't, don't quote me here. There's a conspiracy theory that she's secretly an agent for the conservatives because she's so over the top. And the rumor is that when she was in school, when she was in college or whatever, that she used to write a blog. I don't know if it's true or not, so don't quote it. I have to look into it. But she used to write a blog, a conservative blog. Okay? It was a conservative blog talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that she's actually a plant. That's the rumor. That's the conspiracy theory. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't care. But either way, she's over the top. So if there's ever... she's so over the top, it makes no sense. So I don't know. Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm going to report on this just in case you may have missed it. This is an article from April 28th of this year from the Washington Examiner. Indiana Attorney General files lawsuit against Black Lives Matter. It says Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita filed a lawsuit this week against National Black Lives Matter charity for failing to fork over information about its finances. The lawsuit is part of an investigation Rokita launched against Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation in February that is seeking to determine whether the embattled charity violated Indiana state law by deceiving donors and misapplying its assets. It says here, quote, protecting Indiana consumers from this house of cards is critical, Rokita said in a statement Thursday. There are concerning patterns of behavior from this organization, and we will do what it takes, including this lawsuit, to get to the bottom of it. Says the foundation claimed to have raised $90 million in 2020 in the aftermath of George Floyd's killing, but the charity has yet to file an IRS Form 990 disclosing what it did with the funds. Now, it's been all this controversy about the $6 million house. Patrisse Cullors, one of the founding members of Black Lives Matter, has, she's been called out and criticized for buying homes and putting up walls or fencing around her homes. And she actually retired after being called out. Matter of fact, there's another group, forget what it's called, I think it's called BLM 10X or something like that. And it's an anti-Black Lives Matter group. And that's because of the fraud that has gone on with Black Lives Matter. They weren't giving no money to the families of these victims or whatever. Whether you want to call some of these people victims is up to you. However, a lot of people have woken up and they figured out that this is nothing but another fraud, nothing but another George Soros front group, just like Antifa. They were mainly designed to start riots, just like Antifa, foot soldiers for the deep state. And a lot of people are finding out, or they discovered that this is a deep state front group. Okay, just another deep state front group, and a lot of people are regretting, from what I see, a lot of people are regretting that they even got involved with Black Lives Matter. However, you're not going to see that on mainstream media at all. I'm pretty sure that this coming midterms, they will try to start another race war. There'll be probably some kind of stage event. Okay. And they're going to do their best to roll out Black Lives Matter and Antifa. The dum-dums will still fall for it, but I think a lot of people are waking up. There's a lot of stupid people, but a lot of people are waking up at the same time. So it's, take the good with the bad. It says here, let's get back to the article. It says the charity was exposed in early April for trying to conceal its cash purchase of a $6 million Los Angeles mansion with donor funds in October of 2020, which a watchdog group alleged could be a violation of IRS charity laws. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation has also yet to announce publicly who has been in charge of the charity since its co-founder, Patrisse Cullors, resigned in May of 2021 amid the purchase. Look, she served her purpose. All right. She's openly admitted that BLM is a Marxist group. The founders of BLM are openly Marxists, and they want to destroy the nuclear black family. So, there you have it, man. There you have it. Black Lives Matter means that black lives don't matter. They want to destroy the black nuclear family. And, that's already happened anyway. The globalists have already destroyed the black community, pumping drugs into the neighborhood, putting up these drug dealer rappers to brag about selling drugs and making that the trend. And, they've set up the welfare state to take the father out the home. They've already destroyed the black community as it is. So Black Lives Matter is here, to keep that system in place. All right. So anyways, a lot of people are waking up to them. Let me see if there's more to this article here. It says here, however, the group did disclose in filings to California and New Mexico in February that Bill and Hillary Clinton insider Mignon Moore and the law firm run by Democratic lawyer Mark Elias had taken up key roles with the charity. Yeah, so there you go. Now you link Black Lives Matter back to the Clintons. Of course. Of course. Why not? Are we surprised? No. And in February, the foundation shut off its ability to raise funds amid legal threats from California and Washington over its lack of financial and operational transparency. Yeah, man. So all of that protesting, All of those donations, where did it go? Where did the money go? Is anybody asking? You know how much money was? I can't even remember the exact dollar amount. Do you know how much money was raised? Especially for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, but especially for George Floyd during the George Floyd. Do you know how much money was raised? Where's that money going? Tell you where it's going. It's going to the Clintons. It's going to the Clintons and the DNC. Yeah, man. The deep state continues to roll out these fraudulent front groups. And people continue to put themselves in a trick bag. They play on your emotions. They get you all worked up and upset. This is what they do. This is what they do. And I'm very interested, and I just want to say this right quick. I'm interested to see, because I know what they're going to do. I know what the deep state is going to do. I could tell just from this abortion rights debacle. I can tell that they are prepping for the midterms, okay? I expect holy hell to be unleashed around September, early October, before the midterms, because they know that they're about to get absolutely destroyed. And they're going to have to cheat like they've never cheated before. And I don't even get into elections and all. I don't even care about it. Because most of these Republicans are nothing but deep state operatives anyway. However, their feet are held to the fire by the conservative base more than the Democrats are. In other words, the Democrats can get away with a lot more because their base, the liberal base, is just absolutely stupid, dumb, uninformed. You know, everything's about emotions and feelings with them. So they don't have a clue. So even if you have deep state puppets, rhinos, it's still one step up from having a damn Democrat in there, because they're not held accountable for nothing, not by the liberal base or the mainstream media. So they can get away with a whole lot with a Democrat in office. So I expect BLM, whatever's left of it, I don't think they're going to get the support that they got before, nowhere near it. But I expect BLM and Antifa to to just completely act up and try to start as much chaos as they possibly can around September and October. It's going to get nasty. If I'm wrong on this, I will be shocked. All you have to do is look at what's going on with the abortion rights mess. They already have this in place. And it's just May.